Hello! So, this is the second video that you should be watching. You should have already watched the formatting video, so your paper should be formatted correctly, where you've done all of these things. So the next step is to work on your style of your paper, which is like the next level up, before we go on to the final check video. So it should be the second of 3 videos you're watching. So the first thing you're going to want to do is check your thesis. Make sure you don't need to add anything to your thesis. Because, for example, in this draft of this paper somebody wrote last year, their thesis, which should be the last sentence of your intro paragraph, says, "The Odyssey by Homer proves how Odysseus shows the heroic traits of intelligence when he battles a Cyclops, and courage when he saves his men from Scylla, supporting the theme that people are heroes in hard times, not just easy ones," which is fine. And yours may mention your 2 things as well, Scylla and the Cyclops' body paragraphs 1 and 2. But remember, then you added the paragraph about the homecoming. So this person added the paragraph about the suitors. So you need to add that. So it looks like this one was about, shows the heroic traits of intelligence when he battles a Cyclops, courage when he saves his men from Scylla, and both of these traits when facing the suitors, supporting the theme that blah, blah, blah. So make sure that if you need to add that third item into your thesis, you can. Now, if you didn't mention specific body paragraph items, you do not have to do that. That's fine. But if you mention the first 2, it doesn't make sense not to talk about the third one as well. So make sure you've done that. Next, now we get into the real style stuff. So you're going to want to make sure that your essay is in literary present tense. When we write about books, we write about them in present tense. So it's not that Odysseus did something. Odysseus is doing something. You write as if it's still happening, because when you read it, it's still happening to us, if that makes sense. It's kind of a weird explanation, but you always want to write in present tense. Now, the Odyssey is kind of an interesting situation because it's all about the narrator telling the story of what happened to Odysseus. So he's telling, irrelevant. So he's telling about Odysseus' story that happened in the past. So because of that, if you want to write in past tense, that's fine, I guess. I'll take that this time. However, it's really important to at least make sure that your tenses match. Okay? If you start off writing in present tense, the whole essay should be in present tense. Or if most of your essay is in past tense, it should all be in past tense. Now you might be asking yourself, how do I tell if it's in present or past tense? Well, look and see what you're saying. So the author Homer tells the readers in the Odyssey of a man named Odysseus and how he emerged into a hero on his hard journey home. The obstacle he had to face, so this is all past tense. Emerged, that means this happened in the past. He had to face, that happened in the past. He watched in fear, that happened in the past. So it looks like we need to change these all to past tense. That's fine. It's about split. This is present. There's shows he is smart. That's present. So you just have to pick one, okay? So we could say the narrator, I'm going to pick past, tells the reader in the Odyssey of man named Odysseus and how he emerged. The obstacle he had to face when Odysseus went up against the Cyclops was that he did not want his men to get eaten before they could escape. This one's past, so this is fine. While the Cyclops ate his men, Odysseus showed he was smart to think of a plan when he stuck, instead of sticks, the Cyclops in the eye. While he planned to kill the Cyclops, he got the Cyclops drunk, so that's past tense, so that's fine. And then he knew Odysseus was smart, and when he guessed at the eye. Once Odysseus outsmarted the Cyclops, he said, okay, so notice I changed all these verbs to past tense. Okay, verbs are your action words, so all the action words happened in the past. I would have to go through the whole essay and make sure that they match. Is that going to take some time? It might. Yours might already be fine. I don't know why he highlighted this. Yours might be okay, and in that case, just read through it and make sure. But you want to read through the whole thing and make sure it matches. Either all has to be in past tense or all has to be in present tense. Okay? If you need help with this, put your little name on the sheet, on the conference sheet, and I will come, and you can come and I'll help you figure that. Okay? So, it's at least got to match. Next step. Read through your essay to check for spelling and capitalization errors. Names should be capitalized. The book title, in this case it's the epic title, should be italicized. Make sure you spell the author's name right, etc. Okay? So every time you mention somebody, you've got to have like a capital O for Odysseus. Okay? You capitalize names. This person started capitalizing the word Cyclops. Cyclops is not his name. So, see, we've got a capital C and a not capital C. They need to all be the same. It's not his name. If you use his name, Polyphemus, then you would use a capital C. But I have to go through all this, make sure that Odysseus is capitalized, Penelope is capitalized, Ithaca is a place, that should be capitalized. Okay? So capitalization is important. For spelling, you want to make sure you spell it correct, okay? Odysseus is spelled like this, O-D-Y-S-S-E-U-S. Odyssey is spelled O-D-Y-S-S-E-U-Y. Okay, now to double check and see if you have properly italicized it, what you can do is if you click, as I put on here, Control F, and then look up some of these things. So if you hit your Control button and hit F, a little box will pop up in your top corner, and it says Find in Document. And if you type the space Odyssey, every time you've written the word the Odyssey, it'll pop up. So it tells you 3 of 3. So you can go up and up. So this writer only used the Odyssey 3 times, and all 3 times it is italicized. Good job, this person. Okay, so that's one way you can check about the Odyssey. Same thing with Odysseus. If you put in Odysseus, you can just skim through, it'll highlight all of his name, and you can just make sure that you've capitalized every time. I'm just clicking this little arrow button up here, and it's just going through, and I'm making sure that all of them are capitalized. And this person did, so that's good. Okay, so you can do that to Odyssey, you can do that to Homer, because remember, you should have Homer a lot of times because it should be in all of your citations. So if we look up Homer, right, 1 citation, 2 citation, 1 citation, 2 citation, whoop, and then there were no Homers in this third paragraph. Okay, so I need to make sure that I put Homer and Homer. All right. So while you're checking Homer, it would make sense to check your citations. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'll put that on your list. And check citations while you search for Homer. Ta-da! Alright, so just as a reminder, your citation should look like this. It's at the end of your sentence. You've got your quotation mark, Homer, space, book, period, no space, 195-196, and parentheses, period. So this one is fine, this one is fine, that one is fine, this one has a weird space, this one has a weird period, I don't know why that's there, this one also has a weird period. Okay? Good. Alright, so you can search Homer. You can search the word quote, because remember, you cannot use the word quote anywhere in your paper. Okay, so if we do quote, one, and it's used in their intro. They've got a quote, and it said Christopher Reeve. This quote could be used to describe Odysseus in his quest. So how can I fix that? Well, I could say this description of a hero could be used to describe Odysseus in his quest to return home. A lot of times, if you've got like, this quote proves that he has intelligence to go up against a Cyclops, you can just say Odysseus has intelligence to go up against a Cyclops, or Odysseus, while tricking Polyphemus, proves that he has intelligence to go up against a Cyclops, or proved, because we needed to make all this past tense. Okay? So take out every time you have the word quote, make sure it says 0 out of 0 when you search quote. And then you can search all the pronouns. I'll put shows on this list twice. So search I, my, you, us, we, and our. You can't use any of those words. So if you go I, make sure you click space, because otherwise, as you'll see, every single time you've done this, it'll show up. Space. 0, 0. Fine. You. Oh. Oop, that's fine, because that's in a quote. That's in a quote from Homer, so that's okay. You, that's fine. You, those are in a quote. You, in a quote. Young, that's fine. More quote. Okay, so all of the yous in here are in quotes. That's fine. So then you do that for we, our, us, all of that. And then the last thing you can look for is shows. Because remember, we don't want to use the word shows too many times. So this person used shows 5 times. You can probably get rid of a couple of those. I mean, 1 or 2 times is okay, but otherwise, if you just go to thesaurus.com, just spelled like this, thesaurus.com, and look up shows, it'll give you a, oh well, you want to make sure you pick the one. Actively exhibit something. Nope, that's not it. Passively exhibit something? Yeah. So make sure you go to shows, click the tab that says passively exhibit something, and then pick any of these really. It establishes, it displays, it determines, it demonstrates, it indicates, it proves, it reveals, it illustrates. Pick a different one. So do shows, and then you should be okay. Wow, this is taking me longer than I thought. Okay, so next, look at your transitions. So remember the beginnings of your paragraphs, they should reference the last paragraph. So this is a bad topic sentence because it's not stating the topic. You want to explain, if the topic is the Cyclops, explain Odysseus showed intelligence when he faced the Cyclops. So I would need to fix this one. Okay, so in one of his first obstacle challenges, Odysseus demonstrates his intelligence when he battles the Cyclops Polyphemus. I honestly can never remember how to spell Polyphemus. Good. Oops. Good. Okay. So then my next transition, after he defeats the Cyclops, so I referenced the last thing, that's good, Odysseus comes across Scylla. He shows his courage when, so I'd probably combine these so you state the obstacle and what he shows. When he after he defeated the Cyclops, Odysseus came across Scylla when he showed he had courage in deciding to sacrifice all his men, or at least 6 of them. Okay? And the last one, just as Odysseus used the heroic traits of courage and intelligence to go up against the monsters, he also had to use these traits against the suitors. Okay? So double check your transitions. I'm going to have to end this video here because it cuts off at 15 minutes.